What's happening, YouTube? We got 5 most disturbing cases of real found footage. This is a little something new, like that I'm starting to do. I ain't really reacted to something like this before, but let's see what it's talking about. It struck my attention by the thumbnail, so let's get it.
On January 8th, 2005, a man named Martin discovered a mysterious package in his mailbox. Confused, he brought it inside and opened it up.
It just looked like a piece
Inside
of
the
mail,
package
fam.
was a single item, a videotape with no label or note to explain its contents. Curious to see what was on it, he put it in his camcorder and pressed play. And the footage he found on it was shocking to say the least. It contained a nearly hour-long video of a man describing the violent things he was about to do. How he was going to lure his victims and the makeshift devices he was going to use.
I'm not trained in torture methods, which is what I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here.
Bro, what the freak?
Padding on it is just to try to silence it a bit because I'm in an apartment. I got gags, socks, got lots of duct tape.
What the freak is he finna
I got
torture?
a soldering iron, sheets. Rather crude implements, I think can work wonders, especially if it's used in the right way.
However, while the content itself was extremely grim, what disturbed Martin more was the fact that he personally knew the person on screen. This wasn't the manifesto of a serial killer planning to take innocent lives. Instead, it was the final message of Martin's close friend, Ricky Rodriguez, a man who was tormented by a cult from the moment he was born. He eventually managed to escape the cult and was now planning to take revenge on the people who did unspeakable things to him for all those years. He recorded this hour-long video and mailed it to his few friends and family so they would find it and have all the answers about what he was about to do and why.
I'm making this video, well, for many reasons, I guess. I suppose the main reason is that I want there to be some record of the way I feel, my ideas, just who I was, really.
Ricky's story began 30 years earlier on January 25, 1975, when he was born as the first child of Karen Alva.
Oh my goodness. Hey, I ain't even gonna say too much, bro.
Karen was a member of a cult called the Children of God, which used Christian language to lure in young, impressionable minds, often teenagers, and molded them to its sick and perverse ideals.
I know y'all heard about that one. My bad for pausing. I know y'all heard about that one cult where it's like, they was doing some weird crap. They believed that like, they had like a massacre happen basically, and they all killed, like somebody killed all of them thinking they gonna go to like heaven or the next realm or something like that. And the police went into the like the place, I forgot what the name of the cult is, and it was buku people dead, bro. It was like the whole cult was dead. They was all found like just laying on on their beds. I can't think of the name, bro. And it was like some cult, they believed that killing each other would get them to like the higher afterlife or something like that. It was something crazy, bro.
His birth, he was adopted by the cult's leader, David Berg, who presented himself as the Chosen One. David changed the cult's name to The Family and declared Ricky to be a religious herald, granting him a special position in the organization. However, while he was treated like royalty by the other members on the surface, behind closed doors, Ricky was the victim of violent acts no child should ever have to endure. David not only encouraged these acts, but went as far as to write a whole book about everything he and his followers did to Ricky, called The Story of DeVito. This abuse continued for many years, but as Ricky got older, he became aware of David's lies and manipulation. Then, in 1999, he finally managed to escape the cult with his girlfriend Alexia Manuel by faking a visit to the cult's compound in Mexico and fleeing to the US instead. Reintegration into society after 24 years in an isolated cult was anything but simple, but Ricky somehow managed to pull through and secure a job as an electrician. He also married Alexia and later moved to Tucson, Arizona due to his work. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried to move forward, the nightmare he escaped continued to haunt him. David had passed away in 1994, and the cult was now under the supervision of Karen Zerbe, Ricky's mother. And while the cult had managed to escape legal
So this cult
repercussions
ran
by
in his
mainly
family.
operating overseas, Ricky knew that there were still countless children suffering the same fate as him. So, in January of 2005, he decided enough was enough and took matters into his own hands. Which brings us back to the video he recorded and then mailed to a handful of close friends and his wife. In it, Ricky mentioned his ultimate goal, which was to bring down the cult all on his own. Beyond that, a part of this was also about getting revenge for everything that was done to him.
There's this need that I have. This need, it's not a want, it's a need. And I wish it wasn't, but it is. It's a need for revenge. It's a need for justice.
I'm not saying it's right at all, but that's his motive behind it. He feel like he got wronged by the cult, so now he getting his get back, bro. Like, that ain't the right way to go. But I don't agree with the cult stuff neither. So it's like, you know, and I could tell this dude, he's still a sick dude for doing that, like, of course, but like, it seemed like he got some kind of sense.
In this video, he also laid out his plan for accomplishing
Still a
this
little bit
goal.
crazy though.
He'd apparently gotten in contact with his previous nanny, Angela Smith, who was among the group that tormented him during his time in the cult. He was going to invite her over for dinner at his apartment in Tucson and make her tell everything she knew about the
This
other
man got a
members of
taser?
the house by any means necessary. And that's exactly what he did. On January 8th, after mailing copies of his recording, he invited Angela into his home and proceeded with the plan. It's unclear what information he managed to extract from her before taking her life.
Why he
then
recorded
got
all
into his
this?
car and drove to Blythe, California. There, he rented a motel and called his wife to tell her about what he had done and what he was going to do next. However, despite the meticulous planning, Ricky ultimately couldn't follow through with the rest of his plan. On the morning of January 9th,
His
the
wife
police found his
snitched?
car in a parking lot just a few miles from the hotel he was staying at. Ricky was found inside the car as well, where he had taken his own life. And while this was tragic news for his loved ones, it was hardly surprising for his wife. You see, Ricky believed that killing the cultists would bring him peace, something he reiterated in his last video.
I can imagine how I would feel. How liberating it would be.
But that's not what happened. During his call with his wife, he confessed that despite his anger
thought
and
that
resentment,
killing her would make him feel
Angela was
better.
the hardest thing he had ever done. Taking revenge didn't bring the comfort he was looking for. He couldn't bring himself to take any more lives and decided to end it all that night, leaving his friends and family.
He ain't no
with this
killer, boy.
hour-long. On January 8th, 2005, a man named
No, I restarted on accident, bro. What the freak? And I got hit with an ad. No. I'm selling, bro.
Alexia Manuel by
Hold on, I'm getting back to
revenge
it.
for everything he knew about the other members' whereabouts by Despite the meticulous planning, Ricky ultimately couldn't follow through with the rest from the hotel. And Ricky believed that killing the cultists would bring him peace, something he reiterated in his last video.
I can imagine how I would feel. How liberating it would be.
But that's not what happened. During his call with his wife, he confessed that despite his anger and resentment, killing Angela was the hardest thing he had ever done. Taking revenge didn't bring the comfort he was looking for. He couldn't bring himself to take any more lives and decided to end it all that night, leaving his friends and family with this hour-long video to remember him by. As for the family,
fact that he
cult,
recorded
it
that
remains
before he
active to
died.
this day under the leadership of his mother.
What the freak, bro? The code is still active to this
Imagine
day.
being able to build an app with your name on it.
Get 'em
Just by
gone,
thinking
coach.
about it.
Get 'em gone.
Meet Base 44.
And how do
October
people even
4th.
fall for joining a cult?
With 2006, at approximately 6:15 a.m., the Barrie
so
Police
gullible,
Department
bro.
received a chilling call from a woman saying, "My children are dead," in a calm and quiet voice. The disconnect between her tone and the situation she was describing was extremely unsettling. When asked what happened, she replied, "I don't know, I don't remember." Police officers immediately rushed to the address she provided and knocked on the door of her apartment, bracing for what they might find. The door opened and they were greeted by 31-year-old Frances Elaine Campione. When the officers asked her about the children she mentioned on her call, she replied in the same disturbingly calm voice, stating, "Yes, they're dead. They're on my bed." As the officers entered the master bedroom, he saw the remains of two little girls, 3-year-old Serena
Bro,
and
what
19-month
the heck,
Sophia,
bro?
lying on the bed. Both were dressed in clean clothes and were also wearing necklaces and earrings. However, their skin was starting to turn blue, suggesting they might have been deceased for quite some time. One of the officers also noticed a small bruise on Sophia's forehead, and that was it. There was nothing else in the room that could have explained their deaths. But as the investigators looked through Elaine's apartment, they found a camcorder with footage that explained everything. The recording started on a wholesome note.
Bro,
showing
they
Elaine
have the
surprising
footage.
Serena with a new bike on her 3rd birthday on August 8th.
Hi, Serena.
This is creepy.
It's August 8th, 2006. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Serena. Happy birthday to you. Serena's 3 today. Yay! Shall we go to the living room and see if you got any birthday presents from the birthday fairies?
Yes!
Okay, let's go.
I have to go.
Bro, just the way it's recording is creepy, dog. The freak.
What is it?
It's a bike.
The next video also showed Elaine and her 2 daughters just hanging around and having fun.
I love you.
It's much.
Oh, I love you more than that.
So far, everything looked quite normal. However, the 3rd recording, dated October 2nd, was when things started to get weird. The tone of the recordings instantly changed as Elaine suddenly
That's
went
the
on
mama.
and on about their horrible living conditions and the torment her ex-husband Leo and his family had put her through, said all in front of her children.
You can't see through the camera, boo-boo. Oh, yes, this is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess.
It don't even look that bad. What the freak? Am I tripping?
Yeah. I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins. The same as Leonardo. All I wanted to do was
God
take care of
dang.
my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and then the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse, which wouldn't stop, and I had CAS keep bringing these 2 people into my life over and over again when I kept telling them the amount of mental and emotional abuse it was causing my 3-year-old daughter Serena and I and Sophia. It was horrible and uncalled for, and I want justice to my family for what they involved into us. I cried out for help. They should have.
Leo was apparently extremely abusive, both physically and mentally. He prevented her from contacting her parents, and at one point even kicked her in her stomach while she was pregnant.
God
This
dang.
resulted in Leo getting charged with domestic violence, and the 2 getting divorced. However, at the time of this recording, Leo was starting to turn things around, and was engaged in a legal battle with Elaine over the custody of their daughters. This took an immense toll on Elaine's mental health. She was already quite unstable and had been to the psych ward twice in the past couple of years. But according to her mother, the custody battle caused her to lose it completely and developed severe paranoia. She became worried that Leo would one day show up and forcibly take her daughters away. Then, on October 2nd, after ending this recording at 8:39
Don't tell me she killed them
Elaine
because
did
they
the
was gonna do
unthinkable
that.
by taking the lives of her own daughters.
What the
Then
heck, bro?
recording a haunting confession that investigators discovered on the same camera.
Recording this because Leo, there, are you happy? Everything's gone. You wouldn't give peace. You wouldn't tell the truth. I begged. You even had Stacy not believing me, telling her I had to sign papers when I didn't. I went to victim witness to get the truth. Trying, begging everyone the truth. How you beat me. 3 years behind closed doors, beat me when I was pregnant with Serena and Sophia. You didn't care about our babies, you didn't care about me, you cared about yourself. You wanted to win, you won. Are you happy? How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? It doesn't make me feel great.
But why would you kill the kids though,
I've
fam?
lost everything.
That don't make sense.
At this point, the camera cut to a later point where Elaine attempted to take her own.
Remodeling time at their Aurelia and Braintree stores. They are changing the displays. Now is the time to make a great deal on an Ontario-made hydro pool hot tub. In-stock models, floor models, or custom orders, everything has a sale price. Pool Spa Sun Showroom, making waves. in Aurelia, Grace Bridges, soon to be in Huntsville. You can also check them out on the web at coolspasautoshowroom.com. I'm here with Wilson White from Conservative.
Elaine was arrested on the spot and was later charged with murder, with the found footage in her home serving as crucial evidence against her. She was ultimately sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years.
How the freak would you kill your kids though, man? It don't, regardless of how much he tormented you, like that don't make sense.
You're not ready for it.
If they was your life like you said they was.
Years ago, the
freak
Bureau of
lady?
Land Management published a public
Man,
service
these people
announcement
sick,
dubbed
bruh.
Stay Out and Stay Alive, educating viewers about the countless dangers of exploring abandoned mines, including the very real risk of cave-ins, volatile explosives, wild animals, and entire sections without oxygen. However, the most chilling part of the video was the story and the accompanying found footage of an accident that had occurred years earlier. On July 4th, 1998, a group of young men found an abandoned mine in Nevada and decided to explore it for fun.
They
Though,
told y'all to stay
surprisingly,
out,
the
man.
boys seemed acutely aware of the mistake they were making right from the start.
You see Briz pointing out, stay alive. It's a good point, but we're not too smart, so we're gonna go anyway.
This is an unsafe mine. Danger.
Yet the allure of exploring a place untouched for decades was too tempting for them to ignore. However, the deeper they went into the mine, the more dangerous it became, with the boys walking over sketchy wooden bridges to continue their journey. They even found signs of the mine caving in, but chose to ignore those signs just to venture deeper.
If you look at all this, there's lots of rocks and stuff. That fall
Bro,
from the ceiling,
you had
which
plenty of
indicates
warnings to get out of there,
that, yeah,
fam.
good idea to be walking this way. And, well, they've already fallen, so they're not gonna fall.
What do you get out of this though, fam?
Yeah.
What do you get out of
An
this?
important thing to keep in mind is that these weren't professionals with prior experience of safely exploring abandoned mines. This was just a group of boys looking to do something cool and film the adventure. They could have easily plunged to their deaths down a 1,000-foot mine shaft or gotten lost in the miles-long maze of tunnels, which started looking more and more likely as time went on.
Yeah, we gotta remember where we're. Okay, we got Al here.
Who painted these X's in the clip? Grant.
What do they mean?
God dang, bro, what you filming off of? A microwave, fam? Keep the camera still.
Well, there you go this way.
That one's got an X.
Oh, they lost.
What does the diamond do? Where's that go?
Goes down.
Along there. Ooh, that's
This
not
was filmed in 1998.
Well, it'd be kind of hard. You slip your toe, you catch stuff before you actually tell that nap.
Not a panic set in and you scream like a little girl.
Toxic gases and radioactive elements could have also caused serious health issues down the line, if not immediately. Fortunately, they somehow managed to avoid all of these dangers and make their way fairly deep into the mine. But then they came across something that could have ended all of their lives in one fell swoop.
Got them
What was
pipes.
it?
Oh, wow. We have to climb that?
Yeah, don't everybody get up.
Bro,
I got you.
like, and y'all going deeper into the cave, like,
It's funniest when somebody falls. That's a good idea. Alright. Oh, that's the cable. Don't put that.
While crossing a sketchy section of the mine, one of the boys noticed a rope dangling down from one of the wooden beams and immediately became curious.
it's like, how
about
fast can I
whatever
die?
was down
And when will it be? Like, god dang,
Wow, so we're
bro.
climbing down
Like,
this rope.
leave.
Yeah. How far down? How are we getting out of it?
Climbing up it.
I see.
They had little rope climbing experience between them. However, they didn't let that stop them from accomplishing their desires. The guy named Adam decided to be the first one to descend, resulting in this.
How far down does it go?
All the
Bro,
way down.
don't tell me they got footage of him
Like a
falling.
good 30 feet. Where am I gonna hook this?
I'll go
camera?
first. I am.
About 300 feet. You don't want where to go. Put it like you doing it in your mouth. Yeah, that's all right. Is it off now? No, look at it. How am I gonna get the thing down there? Yeah, but how me get back up? I don't know.
Hey, good. Give you my belt straight on.
Did he fall?
Adam! Oh! Adam!
What the?
Adam! Yes. Adam! Oh, God.
That man
Oh,
just
God. Somebody
fell.
help. Adam!
The rope Adam chose to trust was completely worn and gave way shortly after putting his weight on it. This caused him to plunge 65 feet down a dark mine shaft and lose consciousness. Luckily, none of the damage he took on his way down was immediately lethal. He was still breathing. His
Did he
friends
get
were able to
saved?
find an exit and contact the authorities, who
Oh,
eventually
okay.
rescued Adam after an hours-long rescue mission. Ultimately, them escaping the mine without any casualties was nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah,
The
that
mine
was a
shaft
miracle.
could have easily been over 100
What the
feet
freak,
deep,
bro? I
or
thought he
it
was
could have just
dead. I
as
thought
easily
they
hit his
filmed
head
his
on the
death on
surrounding
camera.
wall. Both of these scenarios would have resulted in his death. What's even worse is that the whole group could have gotten stranded in the shaft if the rope broke when the last person was going down. With no way to contact the outside world, the group would have likely died of starvation. Fortunately, they were able to walk away from this terrifying experience with just a few broken bones along with cuts and scratches.
At least they got Buddy saved, because I thought he was
On the 25th of
cooked. I
February
ain't gonna lie.
2022, the Perea Fuel Company hired maintenance workers to reopen one of the underwater pipes connecting their oil unloading dock and refinery. The
Hey,
operation
deep
team
water,
included
deep
5
water
men:
scares me for some
Christopher,
reason, bro.
Kazim, Yusuf, Rishi, and Faisal.
Holy freak, bro! How does one achieve that build, buddy? How?
They were going to use a pressurized habitat to inspect the pipe and make any necessary repairs. However, shortly after entering this habitat, all 5 men disappeared from the work site, leaving those on the surface to wonder what could have happened. It wasn't until rescuers found footage from a GoPro mounted to one of the divers' suits that the full truth came to light. The footage showed the men struggling to open the valve keeping the pipe shut, prompting Kazim to go get a wrench. He returned to the habitat and handed the wrench over to his co-workers. But then, a few seconds later, this happened.
What the freak is going on? God dang,
The moment
bro.
the valve was opened, its low pressure created a powerful vacuum. Water rushed into the habitat, while the pressurized air violently forced everyone into the pipe. All 5 of the men were forced into the 30-inch wide pipe, faster than they could blink. After tumbling through the metal pipe at violent speeds for 1.5 minutes, they came to a stop at a section containing a small air pocket, just enough
That
to
stuff
keep
is
them
scary,
alive,
bro.
allowing them a brief moment to find their bearings and assess the gravity of their situation.
How the freak they
All
got
of them
out?
were barely breathing, and one of them had also injured his leg. And while the air pocket was keeping them alive for the moment, it wasn't going to last very long. So, with no other option, the 2 men at the front, Christopher and Faisal, started moving forward in hopes of reaching the pipe's end and getting help for the other 3. But after making their way through several flooded sections, Faisal lost hope and refused to go any further.
Come on, man.
This left
Keep fighting,
Christopher to
dog.
continue alone, and ultimately reach the end of the pipe, where he was eventually pulled out by rescuers.
Mm.
Unfortunately, the same did not happen for his 4 co-workers.
Dang.
Days passed, and the rescue efforts were slim to none, eventually leaving the other 4 to die in that cramped metal tube. The company's CEO later defended this decision, stating that a rescue mission would have only endangered more lives.
What?
The incident sparked widespread outrage and even forced the regional government to launch an inquiry into how such a disaster was allowed to happen in the first place. But, as is the case with countless similar incidents, nothing much came of it, despite the numerous hearings. The other 4 divers were left for dead. That said, the Trinidad government did announce a compensation of $1 million for each of their families, as well as Christopher
That's
in
it?
April 2025.
Should be more than that, fam.
Guys, stop what you're doing and head over to Fabletics, because right now everything is 80% off. That's right, everything, including their own.
On April 28, 2000, 22-year-old Russian diving instructor Yuri Lipsky decided to reach
Yuri
the depths of
Lipsky.
the Blue Hole in Dahab, Egypt. This was a risky plan from the get-go, since the Blue Hole is widely regarded as the deadliest diving site in the world,
Wow.
with as many as 200 fatalities in recent years. To make matters worse, before his dive, Yuri asked a local technical diver to accompany him on his journey. All of them rejected him, since the preparations for this risky of a dive took as long as a week.
That should have
Yet
been
Yuri
your-
wanted to go and just
That should have been your warning right there, Playboy. If all the professional divers said it's a no-go, bro, and you still went, bro, come on, gang.
2 days.
Take
no
your
matter
hint.
what. Even after every instructor refused to support his plan, instead of backing out, Yuri made the worst mistake of his life and chose to go through with it alone. He started the dive around noon and quickly disappeared into the depths of the ocean. However, many hours passed and there was no sign of Yuri anywhere. His concerned mother enlisted the help of a local technical diver named Tariq Omar, who immediately set out to rescue her son. Unfortunately, by the time he found Yuri, it was already too late.
Dang.
Tariq discovered Yuri's lifeless body floating near the
What
floor
makes
of the
diving
pool.
so dangerous?
The next day, he returned with the necessary equipment to bring Yuri's body back to the surface and got to work.
He ain't had the right
But as he was
equipment.
about to take Yuri back, he noticed that Yuri's diving camera was lying nearby. So he grabbed that as well and began ascending. This camera had captured the final moments of Yuri in haunting detail.
He can't just swim up. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound like that person, but like, what's so hard about it? Oh, he losing oxygen.
The dive started like any other, with Yuri swimming alongside many other divers. However, it wasn't long before everyone else faded from view as he started to descend deeper into the blue hole. And that's when all the worst possible things started happening in rapid succession. It started with him failing to keep his gas levels under check, resulting in him getting nitrogen poisoning and becoming extremely disoriented. By the time he realized his situation, he was already sinking like a rock. He started panicking and began inflating his buoyancy control device quickly to avoid sinking any further. Tragically, this backfired. The buoyancy control device bursted due to the rapidly increasing pressure, leaving Yuri no way of safely returning to the surface.
Dang.
The increasing depth exacerbates the symptoms of nitrogen poisoning as well, and it wasn't long before his camera captured the horrific sounds of him struggling to breathe, ending with him sinking to the 377 feet or 115 meters deep sea floor and passing away. The only silver lining in this whole situation is that there's a good chance the found footage helped at least one diver avoid a similar fate by learning from the mistakes that cost Yuri his
They
life.
watch film. Crazy, fam. Hey, if y'all like these kind of videos, bro, I'll make more of them, bro. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, bro. I'm Tib, I'm out, man.